This video's gonna be a little bit sad. You know, we're dealing with pretty heavy subject matter here. There are some truly heartbreaking deaths in LEGO Star Wars. But there are also some pretty lame ones, and those characters should feel ashamed and embarrassed for the way they died. This is why ranking things is so important. Because what if someone has a lamer death than someone else, and that went unnoticed by the world? So this is the little tier list I made. I guess we'll do this in chronological order, because that's the way I ordered them. Which means we're starting with Qui-Gon's death. Oh, spoiler alert, by the way. I guess we're starting with one of the best. I mean, Qui-Gon has an awesome death. He goes out like a badass. I mean, he dies just in the middle of combat. He just gets stabbed. And he just takes it and falls over and dies. I see no better way to die. That's an S tier. Already, right off the bat, S tier. Now this is a pretty great one too. When Darth Maul dies, he gets sliced in half in the middle of combat as well. What brings down Darth Maul's death for me personally is the reason why he died. See, Qui-Gon died because he was putting up a really good fight, and then he gets fucking stabbed. But he was trying his best in combat. Darth Maul dies because he lets his guard down. The guy dies because he gets cocky. I mean, it's visually, it's an awesome death. I'm gonna put this one in... I'll put it in A tier. It's still a really pretty... I love violence. So this next death kind of fucking sucks. Zam Wessel. She just dies because Jango Fett shoots her with like a toxic dart so that she can't say anything. Lame. This is like a D tier death. Just like her level, where she's a boss battle. That level sucked. Jango Fett. Now, this is a good death, but it's also kind of embarrassing because he didn't really need to die. He died because he was being a jackass. Like, he died because he just got so cocky that he thought he could just start taking on Jedi, you know, head to head, and then he just he gets his head cut off. He thought he could just take on a bunch of Jedi by himself. Yeah, that's really cocky, but it is a cool death because he does get beheaded and his head goes flying, and that's kind of cool. So, I'm gonna give him a B tier. Gonna give him a B tier. Definitely a B on the how awesome is your death scale. Count Dooku. Okay, I do quite like this death. Count Dooku fought very hard, and he of course loses to Anakin. I mean, fair enough, he's pretty powerful. You know, it would have been nice if he just died rather than get his hand cut off, fall over, and then get slaughtered. But I do like that touch. I like the raw human emotion you get to see play out in this scene. I think the whole scenario he finds himself in really adds a lot to his death, and I'm gonna give him A tier. Commander Cody. Now, his death is a little bit lame, but I really do respect the way he dies. I mean, he just charges at General Grievous. This guy does not give a single fuck. He just jumps right in, but he gets killed because of it. I really respect the effort. I'm gonna give him a B tier. I'm gonna give him a B tier. I think he deserves it. General Grievous himself, on the other hand, he's got 4 lightsabers, and he just gets shot. Like, he's just standing there ready to fight, and then Obi-Wan just shoots him. Like, what an asshole. He gets an F tier. Fuck that. Padme. Now this one's a little tricky because she doesn't die in combat like most of them do. She just dies. She dies while giving birth. And that definitely adds a lot of sort of raw human emotion, like what we got to see with Count Dooku. So it definitely pushes the death up on the list higher for me. It really does add a lot to the game because I mean, imagine playing a Lego game where a woman doesn't die in childbirth. I'm gonna give it a C tier. I'm gonna give it a C tier. Just to give a more accurate ranking to show how I feel. I am gonna move Commander Cody ahead of Jango Fett because I just think the death is a bit better, and I am gonna move Count Dooku ahead of Darth Maul. So, update it there. The list is updated. Time for the original trilogy. You know, Greedo's death is honestly lame as fuck, but he at least tried to defend himself, unlike this asshole, so he gets D tier. I'll put him, you know what, I'll put him ahead of Zam Wessel, because, like, what the hell was that? Am I right? That one sucked. And now it's time for Pandu Badu's death. Where do you go? I like his death. I like that he, you know, he's provoking Luke, and then Obi-Wan just slices him up to pieces. I think it's funny, you know? If you're gonna die kind of a crappy death like that, at least make it funny. So, he gets points for that. I think I'm gonna put him in, I'm gonna put him in, C tier. C tier. You go in C tier with Padme. Not as much raw human emotion as Padme's death, so, you know, probably because he's not human. Wait a minute, this isn't chronological order. Why is the Rancor over here? The Rancor should be here. What the? Obi-Wan Kenobi. I actually quite like Obi-Wan Kenobi's death. I like that he just doesn't care at all. Like, he's in the middle of a fight, and then he just powers down his lightsaber and just says, fuck it, kill me. I dare you. I respect his death. I'm gonna give him A tier. It's gonna go between Dooku and Maul. There we go. Perfect. Beautiful. Grand Moff Tarkin. What a fucking baby. He just runs around on board the Death Star crying. Crying. Like, he's just screaming and panicking, like... and then... he gets even lower than Grievous. He sucks. F tier. You're awful. Go away. Die. Oh, wait. Okay, now... Mustache guy. I love this guy. I think he's great. I think his death is great. I mean, anyone else would have just ran away in fear. But he just stepped forward with his huge ass mustache and just started firing away at the ATTEs coming towards him. He didn't give a shit. He just kept shooting. And get this. After he dies, his mustache survives. His mustache is so cool that it survives. It just falls on the ground. That's like his grave. Like, imagine if right now I was blown to bits, but my mustache like popped off and like just like landed on the ground and got stuck like standing up in the ground to mark where I died. S tier. S tier. S tier. S tier. Easily. Is it better than Qui-Gon's? I don't know. But it's S tier. The Rancor. The Rancor's death is kind of lame. He just kind of, a door falls on his head. That's boring. It's like, it's too boring for F tier. Like, it's not bad enough, but it's also not good. So it's just going in D tier. Lame. Boring. Boba Fett. Boba Fett puts up a little bit of a fight, and then he, of course, dies. It's kind of a lame death, but sort of like Pindu Binu, it's elevated with the comedic factor. So I am gonna put it, I'll put it at the very front of C tier. Why not? The front of C tier. Jabba just gets choked to death. I don't think that's a very good death. It's kind of lame. It's not even really F tier. It's similar to his pet dog. Jabba's death is definitely a bit better than these. In fact, I'd say it's even better than Greedo's, but I wouldn't put it higher than D tier. Okay, the Emperor. He kind of just gets really angry and starts throwing a fit, and then Darth Vader picks him up and throws him over the ledge and kills him. Kind of a lame death, not gonna lie. I think it's gonna rank pretty low. Possibly D tier. Possibly, maybe even F tier. No. It's okay. I will say visually it's much cooler than the rest of the D tier deaths. So for that reason, I will put it ahead of Jabba the Hutt. I think that, you know, there's a lot of cool stuff going on, but I don't think it deserves to be higher than that. I don't think it deserves to be higher than that. So it gets D tier. Darth Vader. I mean, he saves Luke from the Emperor, and then he dies. But, you know, it's honorable. The way he dies, he doesn't die in combat. He dies after the combat is done, but he won. So I think he's deserving of a pretty high tier. I'll give him A tier, low A tier, just to be nice. So that's the list.